Laurel Yacht, the American giant that travels like it's nothing. The tease. Before we get into the jacuzzi, the elevator, and the toy lineup that makes grown adults act like kids, I want you to hold one image in your head. A morning coffee on a private balcony. On a yacht that was built to cross oceans. That tiny detail sounds simple, but it's the clue to what Laurel really is. I'll explain why at the end. First impression. Laurel doesn't walk into a harbor. She arrives. At 240 feet, she has that classic mega-yacht presence, but the vibe isn't loud. It's composed. The hull is a deep, confident blue, the lines are clean, and everything about her reads like old-school luxury that still knows how to run. And here's the part people forget. Laurel is an American-built icon. She was delivered by Delta Marine, and she's been celebrated as one of the most significant U.S.-built yachts of the modern era. Built with that Pacific Northwest, do it right, do it strong mindset. Overview. What Laurel actually is. Laurel is a 73.15-meter, full-displacement world cruiser designed to feel like a private resort that can relocate itself. Steel hull for strength, fiberglass superstructure for smart weight, and a layout that's all about comfort over long distances. She's not built to be trendy. She's built to be dependable, while still looking like money. Her interior design is tied to Donald Starkey, which explains the classic, clubby comfort. This is the kind of yacht where the living spaces feel warm and livable, not like a sterile showroom where you're scared to sit down. Key specifications. The numbers that shape the experience length overall is 240 feet, 73.15 meters. Beam is 40 feet 2 inches, about 12.24 meters, which is huge for this length, and a big reason the rooms don't feel tight. Gross tonnage sits around 1,595 gross tons, meaning there's real interior volume, real space to breathe. Draft is about 12 feet, around 3.65 meters. That's the trade-off for capability. You're getting an ocean cruiser, not a skinny water toy. Power comes from twin Caterpillar 3516 BHD engines rated around 2,500 horsepower each. She cruises around 13 knots and tops out around 18 knots, with a published range up to about 6,000 nautical miles. Translation: she's built to go far, and she can do it without turning your trip into a slow-motion documentary. Fuel capacity is in the serious category, about 45,783 gallons, and fresh water sits around 11,000 gallons. That's not just a number. That's "we can live out here" energy. How it feels. On board, Laurel is designed to host without ever feeling chaotic. For charter-style trips, she's typically arranged for 12 guests in 7 cabins, with a crew of 24 running the show. That crew count is the secret sauce. It's why the yacht feels calm even when the day is packed. Someone is always quietly handling the details while you pretend your life is naturally this smooth. And yes, she's wheelchair accessible and has elevator access between guest decks. On a multi-deck yacht, that's the difference between luxury and why are we doing stairs in boat shoes? The layout, where the luxury actually lives. The main salon has that classic club feel. Big windows, comfortable seating, and a TV that disappears behind artwork. That detail alone tells you the mindset. The room is for conversation and atmosphere first, screens second. Forward of that, there's a formal dining space that can seat up to 16 guests. A setup like that isn't for casual snacking. It's for dinners that feel like events. And now we get to my favorite clue, the owner's zone. The main deck master suite is entered through a private office, and the suite is flanked by private balconies on both sides. That's the kind of design choice people overlook, but it's the clearest sign of the yacht's personality: privacy and control. You can work, reset, and step outside for air without ever walking into the public areas of the yacht. Can switch between extra guest space and a great kids' room, and an optional seventh cabin that can switch between extra guest space and a massage and spa vibe depending on the trip. That's the kind of flexibility charter guests love, because it lets the yacht fit the mission instead of forcing the mission to fit the yacht. Up on the bridge deck, the vibe gets more relaxed. You've got an aft deck dining area with huge views. Then you step inside to a sky lounge that's basically a second salon. There's also a separate library and media room, perfect for movie nights, games, or quiet time when the rest of the yacht is still in social mode. Refit and ride quality. The luxury you don't photograph. Laurel had a major refit in 2014, and she's continued to see upgrades that keep her feeling current. That matters because timeless only stays timeless if somebody keeps investing. The polish you feel as a guest isn't accidental. It's maintenance, refresh cycles, and a crew that treats the yacht like a living system. She also runs with zero-speed stabilizers, which is a fancy way of saying the yacht fights the side-to-side roll even at anchor. Nobody posts a photo of stabilizers, but everybody appreciates them the minute the wind picks up. Combine that with a full displacement hull and that wide beam, and you get a yacht that feels steady enough to actually relax on. Sun deck energy, jacuzzi, gym, and the good life. The sun deck is built for the lifestyle people imagine when they type super yacht into a search bar. Big sun pads, chaise lounges, and a jacuzzi that turns sunset into a ritual. There's also an enclosed gym and a glass shower, so you can actually work out and cool off without sacrificing the view. And yes, there's touch-and-go helipad capability. Most owners won't use it daily, but it's a statement. This yacht is built for a life where time matters. Beach Club, the part that makes it feel modern. Laurel's Beach Club and water access are where she feels especially current. The whole idea is simple. Make the ocean usable. Shade, easy movement for water sports, and a setup that keeps guests close to the water without the mess. She's also known for a serious toy and tender program, the kind that turns a quiet anchorage into an all-day playground. Slides, inflatables, dive days, towables, the kind of stuff that makes adults forget they ever pretended to be too mature for fun. The money talk, charter rates, sale price, and real costs. Let's get honest about the dollars, because luxury is more fun when you understand the math. Laurel has been marketed for sale around $69.5 million. That's the headline number. The reality is everything behind it: crew salaries, maintenance, insurance, dockage, refit cycles, and the constant upkeep that keeps a world cruiser reliable. A common rule of thumb in yachting is that annual operating costs can hover around 5 to 10% of the yacht's value, depending on how it's run. On a yacht in this league, that's easily a multi-million-dollar yearly lifestyle. On the charter side, Laurel is typically listed around $525,000 per week, plus expenses. Plus expenses is the part that adds real weight: fuel, food, dockage, and the onboard budget that makes the week feel effortless. If you've ever wondered why yacht charters get expensive fast, that's why. Because you're not renting a boat, you're funding a moving hospitality operation. My take: why Laurel still matters. Here's what I respect most about Laurel. She doesn't rely on gimmicks. She's a serious ocean cruiser with real volume, real range, and a layout that balances hosting and privacy. She's not a floating nightclub. She's a floating estate. And compared to newer European builds in the 70-meter class, Laurel has a different flavor. Some yachts chase ultra-minimal, gallery-like interiors. Laurel leans into comfort. It's the difference between a modern art museum and a private club, where you can actually relax. Quick joke, but true. On a yacht like this, casual lunch somehow turns into a 5-course situation. And nobody even remembers how it happened. The reveal. The balcony clue. Remember the image I asked you to hold at the start? The private balcony coffee? That's the whole point. Laurel was designed like a world traveler that protects the owner's peace. The master suite begins with a private office and opens to private balconies. That's not a show-off feature. That's a control feature. It tells you Laurel was built for someone who wants the world. But on their terms. Your turn. If you had a week on Laurel, would you run it like a full-on family adventure with toys and dive days? Or would you keep it quiet and treat it like a floating retreat? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me what matters more to you on a yacht: range, comfort, or pure deck space. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like so YouTube knows you want more super yacht deep dives, subscribe for weekly luxury lifestyle investigations, tap join for members-only extras, and if you want to support the next episode directly, Super Thanks is the quickest way to keep these high-effort videos coming.